in the name of Deputy Seán Sherlock, and he wishes to discuss with the Minister for Agriculture, Food and Marine remediation works at Haulbowline Island, County Cork. Deputy Sherlock.
Thank you, Ceann Comhairle, and I'm delighted that Minister Creed is in the House tonight to reply to the query. Haulbowline, as we know, has been the subject of remediation works since 2011 or thereabouts, and the Department of Agriculture is the current owner of the site. It is the former ISPAT or Irish Steel site, and we do know that the east tip of the island has been significantly remediated in the last year or so, and there's I suppose great praise, if you will, for the work that has been done in respect of the football pitch being completed and the east tip itself being completed, and proper seeding and shrubbery being planted and so on. But there is a question mark over the remainder of the site, and my understanding is that there are 3 sites that were to be remediated. The east tip is arguably all but complete, and there has been much progress on that, and I am here tonight to ask the Minister what the status of the remainder of the works is. When will the remainder of the works be completed? There is a massive expectation on the part of the people who reside in that area, particularly the people of the great island of Cove. And we do know that Spike Island now has become a global tourist attraction, and that there is a high expectation that Haulbowline would be completed and remediated in a timely fashion. I'm hopeful that the Minister won't respond by saying that the ownership of the site is to transfer to the Department of Defence, and they then will take ownership of the issue. As far as the people of the Great Island are concerned, this is a whole of government issue. It's an issue that should be responded to by everybody across government, and that I'm hopeful that there won't be a turf war, if you will, between the Department of Agriculture and the Department of the Defence in respect of the remainder of the works that need to be done. And, the Minister himself, in fairness to him, he has taken ownership of this issue thus far, and, he himself did state that, the remediation works would intensify between July 2017 and late 2018, and that has proven to be the case, to be fair, and that is absolutely acknowledged. So I'm hopeful that the government will take a whole-of-government approach to this issue. I would like to know specifically if there is a funding line, available and earmarked for the remainder of the works to be carried out. And I am asking the Minister what the exact position is in respect of the rest of the site, because the expectations are high in that area that the remediation works would be completed.
Thank you very much, Deputy Sherlock. My department assumed responsibility for remediation works at Haulbowline Island on behalf of the Irish Government in 2012. The particular focus has been on bringing about compliance with the terms of a Court of Justice of the European Union judgment under the Waste Framework Directive concerning the East Tip site. Funding for the remediation project is provided to my department in accordance with the specific conditions set out by the Minister for Public Expenditure and Reform on an annual basis up to the completion date of the remediation works. The East Tip works are the most significant element of the remediation project. In the period up to 2017, expenditure was focused on preparing for and securing the necessary planning and waste licence consents for the East Tip and upgrading the island infrastructure in anticipation of works. Following the signing of contracts in July 2017, the remediation of the East Tip commenced, and in December 2018 I visited the site to see that the works had been substantially completed. Some minor finishing works on the site are to be completed early this year. The access road leading into the site is also being upgraded, and this is scheduled for completion by the end of April 2019. While the priority has been remediation of the East Tip, to work on assessing a suitable solution for the former steelworks factory site has also been advanced in preparation for the next phase of the remediation project. Detailed site investigations have been undertaken, and the preparation of an application for planning consent has also been advanced. The Government has decided that the Minister for Defence will be the ultimate owner of Haulbowline Island, in keeping with the Irish Naval Service being headquartered on the island. any remediation solution for these areas will need to be cognizant of their likely long-term use. Information from site investigation studies and assessments to date have been made available to the Department of Defence to assist in this work. Cork County Council has expressed a desire to open a public park at the East Tip site after works are complete. In the meantime, the Council continues to act as agent for my department in carrying out the operational tasks to deliver the remediation project. There has been close cooperation with the naval base to minimise any impacts on its operations arising from the works. The Council has also worked to keep neighbours and stakeholders in the area briefed on the status of the works.
Thank you very much, Ceann Comhairle. I accept the Minister's response, and as much and all as I have the greatest respect for Minister Creed, I think what we're seeing here in government is a transfer, if you will, of authority by the Minister to the Department of Defence, but it hasn't happened yet. And I suppose, again, I reiterate the point that as far as the people of the great island of Cobh and the surrounding areas are concerned, this is a whole of government responsibility, and they don't necessarily see into the internal workings of the various silos in government as between the Department of Agriculture and the Department of Defence. 61 million was allocated originally for this during the lifetime of the last government, and my understanding is that only 23 million has been spent so far. So we are acknowledging the work that has been done thus far, but there is more work to be done. There's a significant amount of work to be done in terms of remediating this site, and I haven't had a clear answer from government in respect of when that will happen, because we know that the park will open sometime in 2019, the recreational park, and that will add significantly to the value of the site in terms of the public use of that site, and and that is a positive public good, if you will. But we really do need to hear from government, and we need to hear specific answers to specific questions as to whether or not the remainder of the fund will be made available to do the South Tip and the former steel plant itself. And the Minister has not responded, to my mind, satisfactorily in that respect, and I'm asking government to please revisit the issue and perhaps come back to us and give us a clear picture of what the likely outcome will be, because there was a ring-fenced allocation of funding of 60 million approximately, and that has not been spent. Are we given to understand now that that has been shelved in favour of other priorities in terms of the capital programme? And it is an important issue.
Thank you, Ceann Comhairle. Could I first of all assure the Deputy that there isn't any silo issues at play here? I'm cognizant of the fact that there are 4 of us Cork deputies in the chamber at the moment. I think all of us recognise, the potential in the greater Cork Harbour area, and that Haulbowline being plank in the middle of it, is a critical part of developing the potential there. You mentioned Spike Island, the great island of Cobh. I've been down on Haulbowline and witnessed this work, and I think there is huge potential. But I think we can't get away from the fact of 2 things. The Court of Justice ruling was about the East Tip, and the immediate obligation was compliance with that and to remedy that situation. That's the works that are almost complete now, and they are exceptionally well done, and hats off to the contractor, to the local authority, and to the staff in my own department. I think it's been an extraordinary result. The other critical point is, look, that the anchor tenant on Haulbowline is the Naval Service. They're headquartered there, and they will be the ultimate owners of the island. So we were charged with the original obligation of remedying the situation that arose from the European Court of Justice ruling. We've done that, but we've also been engaged, as we have been with all the stakeholders, but particularly with the Department of Defence around the future arrangements and works that need to be done, and indeed working with the local authority in terms of preparation for those works that are necessary. I think it is seen as something that will continue in a holistic fashion. And the next step will be, you mentioned the steelwork site, to continue the investment that's necessary to bring the true potential of Haulbowline to fruition. So there's not any silos at work here. There has been very close cooperation between all stakeholders, but particularly between the Department of Defence and my own department, the local authorities, the contractors, the local residents, in fact many of whom were the cause of the European Court of Justice ruling initially and what that all triggered. So I think we're on a journey here. There's no intention of pausing that journey. There's a lot of preparatory work goes into preparing for the next phase of these works, and they're continuing as we speak.
Thank you very much.